Well, I wish I could give you the tea, but mine's just a little bit tart, and that's why it's called Leah's Lemonade. And honey, it's tart because we got the man who gonna bust the bubble. Here's Roland Martin. How you doing, brother?
I'm all good, just chilling.
Yes, you've been chilling, but I already know you finna let us have it. Now, you came over here and told me a little tea, which was, it's not true that Tyler Perry is not buying BT?
No, first of all, that story was wrong. It was done by some site I ain't never heard of called The Streamer. The moment I saw the story, I knew immediately it was dead wrong. There were multiple facts in the story that just made no sense whatsoever. First and foremost, Viacom is a publicly traded company. So they said in the story that Tyler Perry bought BT for an undisclosed amount. A publicly traded company can't sell an asset for an undisclosed amount. It has to be revealed publicly. That's an SEC filing, so that's a lie. Second of all, the story said that a source said that Viacom has been having financial issues. They lost $400 million last year. Okay, anybody who actually covers companies knows that's a lie. In the first quarter of this year, they lost $400 million. So they lost more than $1 billion last year. So the moment I saw the story, I knew it was BS. There were no facts tied to it. There was no quoting. There was no nothing. That's why they took it down the next day. And so that's also part of the problem for a lot of other sites. I'm like, literally the source of people start posting. I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? I'm like, just because somebody posted something doesn't mean it's true. And so that's one of the issues that I have in black-owned media. You got a bunch of people with blogs, a bunch of people with sites who do no fact checking, and then they post something and the public thinks it's true when it's not. And so we have to have integrity in reporting, have to understand everybody wants the race to be first, but again, it's just simply not true. And look, there are people who I talk to who are part of this process, so I knew it wasn't true.
Why do you think Tyler Perry hasn't come out to like dismiss those claims?
That's not his job to do so. I don't have to refute a lie. So I mean, in fact, the site, whoever they are, called The Streamer, it's their job. They're the ones who need to explain how they screwed up. Just like when I criticized Jason Lee when he reported the Queen died. She hadn't died. He was wrong. Then he kept defending it. And I was like, dude, why are you defending it? You're just wrong as hell. Admit your ass is wrong and move on. No, look, I am a journalist. This is what I've done since I was 14 years old. And what we have to understand is the public trusts things. There's power with this microphone. The person who is on the receiving end of this, they are watching and then they're listening, and they think we're the ones who should know. And so that's why I don't report BS. If you're in media and you make a mistake, you are to immediately correct the mistake, because you don't want the public thinking one thing and it's simply not true. So that's why I tell people, when you make a mistake, quickly correct it, because there's integrity in reporting. That's why if somebody comes on my show and they start lying, I shut them down immediately. Because I have respect for the consumer. If you're watching me and somebody lies and I say nothing to correct the lie, you then go, oh, that must be true. Roland didn't say anything. But if you lie, I go, hold up, that's a lie. Or, hold up, that's not true. Hold up, this is the fact. And people are like, why you interrupting? Because you just lied. If you don't lie, I'm not going to interrupt. So the public has to trust us. And part of that trust with the audience, so we have Max Robinson, who was the first black network news anchor. Max was dying of AIDS in 1988. And he spoke at Howard University, and this is what Max Robinson said. Never ever lose, he's also one of the co-founders of the National Association of Black Journalists. He said, never ever lose your integrity or your credibility, because in the end, that's all you got. So if you report stuff and you keep being wrong, then the public says, I can't trust you. And if I can't trust you, why do I watch you?
Well, speaking of that, let's get into this. You know, a lot of millennials and younger honestly look at blogs before they're looking at news, before they're watching a CNN. I'm looking at what the Shade Room's posting, right? So what do you think the delicate balance is? Because I do think that we're moving into a different space as far as consumption of information, right? So what is the balance here?
Well, the onus is on the media outlet. I can tell, look, I know the folks with the Shade Room. I know the folks with Jasmine Brand, and And again, I know Jasmine, and listen, I've seen stuff that they posted, it wasn't correct, I hit them with a DM, like, yo, I'm gonna let y'all know that ain't true. Or, hey, this one detail got wrong.
Yeah.
And they're cool. They're like, hey, Roland, thanks for the heads up. I had to do that several times with the Shade Room. And again, I am a journalist.
Yeah.
I am about the integrity of the craft. And so I don't do lies. And so when I see other media outlets, in fact, look, NNPA, Stacey Brown ran something on that BET stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm like, Stacey, you know better. What are you doing? And so that's the thing. We also have to learn to be accountable amongst ourselves. And so I literally jumped on the Source's Instagram page. It said, not true. I've literally commented on Shade Room or Jasmine Brand or Hollywood Unlocked or any of them, and I'm like, when something is not right. Because I respect the public too much for us to have erroneous information, because then I don't want us quoting erroneous information. And look, it ain't there's stuff that I've heard on the Breakfast Club. And understand, I'll text Charlamagne, I'll text Envy. Before that, I'll hit Angela Yee. And so, and that's just, and look, they ain't just black. Yeah. They're folks I know who at CNN or MSNBC that have said, I'm like, yo, they ain't the two. So again, because for me, it's about the audience. It's about the public. So what I need millennials to understand, you need to look at the source. I can say this here. I don't care. I'll put myself up against anybody. Bottom line is, you watch my show, we gonna be right. We're not gonna play games with the truth, and that's really important, because then folks start resharing and start commenting, and that, I'm telling you, I've had more people stop me in the last 2 weeks. Yo, man, what about the Tyler Perry buying BT? I was like, bro, ain't true. They like, say what? I'm like,
yeah.
So.
Well, listen, you got me hit by it. I'm gonna lie, I didn't know it wasn't true. I just knew Tyler Perry had not either, come out to correct it, or BET hadn't confirmed either. So you can't believe it until you see the ink.
But again, I'm not expecting the audience to do it. But you got to be astute enough. So here's the deal: if you see a story, to give some people some game, if you see a story and ain't no quote from anybody, question the source. That's one. Then when you see how the phrases we use, a source, a well-placed source, someone familiar with, all of that sort of stuff. Look, have a high degree of skepticism. It's really about, again, how can you confirm stuff? So that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah. Now, we touched on this the other day, but I want to talk about the Supreme Court. I think right now a lot of people are looking at what's happening in our country politically and are nervous. Black folk are confused. They shouldn't be. I mean, it came down to voting, but ultimately right now I think a lot of people are trying to figure out what can I do as far as this Supreme Court nonsense is going, because they're not going anywhere. So how do we move forward politically to put ourselves in the best place, because obviously they're chipping away at our rights.
Right. So I did this on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Some people got mad. I don't give a shit. All right. If you were eligible to vote in 2016 and you chose for whatever reason not to vote for Hillary Clinton, it could have been for a Green Party candidate, it could have been for Donald Trump, you made what happened this week possible. Facts are facts. Yeah. That's because Trump appointed 3 Supreme Court justices. Had Hillary won, that would right now be a 5-4 progressive majority on the Supreme Court. Now, there's somebody who's watching, they're saying, man, you shilling for the Democrats and you sitting here getting paid by them, you in their pocket. No, I'm not stupid. There are 2 people who are going to win. It's either going to be Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump. I have to look at them and say, which one is likely to appoint judges that will be pro-civil rights, that will be that will rule on issues that are likely in our favor.
Yeah.
It's called connecting the dots.
It's a no-brainer.
But I think the same Supreme Court, most folks didn't pay any attention to this. This same court last week ruled that if the federal courts wrongfully convicted you, wrongfully sentenced you, and it was an error, sorry, you gotta serve your sentence. If you, we covered this on Roland Martin Unfiltered, and so their deal was the brother filed is a brother. He filed the appeals. Brother been in prison since 2000. What he was convicted of should not have even been tried, and the sentencing was even wrong. They ruled, well, he filed his appeals. Hey, he ran out. Sorry, you gotta finish your sentence. Same court. So again, I need people to understand that your failure to vote or how you voted 7 years ago impact you today. But here's the thing. Thomas and Alito both are over 70. So they're the oldest. Amy Coney Barrett is in her, I think, 40s. They're gonna be there for life.
Yeah.
That means that if you are a 50-year-old Supreme Court, let's just use Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She died at 87. That means, now everybody listening, I want y'all, this is just basic damn math. If you join the Supreme Court in 2020 at 50, and you serve as long as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you're gonna be on the Supreme Court until 2057.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna ask you your age. I'm 54. That's 37 years. So to throw on 34, so that was at 2020, it's 2023. So you throw on 34 years, I'm 54. That means that one Supreme Court justice, if she serves as long as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I will be 88. I hope all y'all watching now understand how that one decision, that one vote could have generational implications.
And there's still people out here hollering, I'm not voting, my vote don't count.
That's a lie. I need people to understand. Listen, there are no perfect candidates. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
I have people right now that are like, oh my God, I need somebody to inspire me. That's some bullshit, okay? First of all, inspirational candidates are once in a generation.
Yeah.
JFK was 1960. Obama doesn't come along until 2008. Before JFK, it was FDR. 30 years before that. Folk, y'all, people get over that nonsense.
Yeah.
Folk like, well, Biden old. Maxine Waters is older than Joe Biden. Auntie Maxine.
Black don't crack, baby.
But I need people to understand, you caught up in some nonsense. What have they accomplished?
Yeah.
HBCUs have gotten in excess of $7 billion in the past 2 years. The most ever. Ever. The continuation of the Affordable Care Act. So again, I'm just trying to get people to understand, play the long game. We have to understand, in this state right here, a third of this state is black. The voter turnout in this state is 38%. If the black turnout in this state goes from 38 to 60 or 65, sweep elections. Just us. The Democratic candidate gets the same percentage of the white vote, and the black vote goes from 38 to 60 or 65, we sweep. Texas, all y'all young folks watching, you heard right now, 75% of all voters under the age of 30 did not vote in the midterm election. So if you in Texas, you mad about Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick and them in the CRT and the DEI and them with all the voting deals, if young people under 30 in Texas had voted, sweep them out of office. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
And so, last point. If I hear another damn young person tell me we tired of all these old folks being in charge, your ass got to run. Your ass got to vote. Just say, that's like saying, that's like if we going, if she goes, I'm hungry, and I go, I'm hungry. Don't nobody decide to move, either cook or call Uber Eats. It's gonna be two hungry ass people sitting there. One of us gotta do something to solve the food issue, right?
Yeah.
If we sitting there, it's gonna be two hungry ass folks like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Look, somebody got to get their ass in that kitchen.
Yeah.
Or go buy something, or order something, or we're going to be two stomach growling people. You have to do something.
Yeah.
And so that's why I need folk to understand. There are more millennials today than baby boomers. But baby boomers vote.
They do. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I just need people to understand. If you want to see change, you got to vote, but then when election is over, you got to still keep putting pressure.
Yeah.
To get what you want.
Yeah. Well, Roland Martin done gave us all the lemonade. Listen, if people want to keep up with you, hear your unfiltered opinion, because you're going to give it every time,
yes,
and find out what you're doing, where you're at, where can they go?
First of all, Roland Martin Unfiltered every night, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, on my YouTube channel, or download the Black Star Network app. We got 6 other shows on the network as well. And of course, all social media, Roland S. Martin. I'm on all of them. I know how to use them. So I don't need nobody millennial telling me how to use a phone. Trust me, I can show a bunch of y'all ass some technology stuff. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Fanbase, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, Tumblr. Yo, we on all of them. And yes, I post my own shit.
And he will cuss you out too, so be prepared.
I don't need help. I don't need help. 2 iPhones, 3 iPads, plus a MacBook Pro. Yeah, that's how I roll.
Okay, yeah, and he'll read you for filth on every single platform.
I'm petty.
We know.
I will throw shade and be petty.
So don't let him get you together. Just watch his stuff so you can be educated and so you can know. Listen, Roland, thank you for stopping by.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Lemonade stand, grab a cup, throw it back, and sip on that, child, okay?